How's it going, everybody? It's your boy Big C-DOGG. This is typically where I give you guys, that kind of upbeat um, greeting and everything. Fortunately, you're not getting it with this one. I kind of wanted to talk to you guys today about a couple of things. One, why I've been so dormant as far as the channel is concerned here over the last couple of months. But also what I've learned and what's happened to me over those last couple of months. Being a conspiracy theorist is never an easy thing to be. And all my brothers and sisters in this community I'm sure, will agree with me. Because once you go down the rabbit hole, there is no turning back. Especially if you happen to slip by the point of no return. And make no mistake about it, it is very easy to slip past the point of no return and not realize you've slipped past that point until you've found something out that you're not meant to find out. And especially if you share that information. Because let's be honest, they don't want you to know. They don't want anyone to spill the beans about what's going on behind their veil of secrets. But once you've found out that information, and even more so once you've, say, made a video, put it on YouTube, and shared it, you start noticing you're being watched. The problem with that is it's not always easy to tell where you're being watched from, and typically you can. But for the most part, when you get that feeling, it feels like you're surrounded. Not a very comfortable feeling to have. You're also going to start noticing things. Strange creatures around you. At some point, they're going to slip up and reveal themselves. You'll hear things. You'll get intense feelings of fear. You'll have a very intense instinct that your life is in danger. And they like to toy with you. They like to lure you into a false sense of security. They'll have their drones, their minions, whatever you want to call them, back off. Watch you from a distance. Give you just enough. Essentially, they're trying to give you just enough rope to hang yourself with. Because they want to lure you into a false sense of security. They want to get you in your guards down. Because they're a bunch of fucking cowards. I've had that feeling for the entire time I've been doing this. I've shared before that I found out a few months ago that I was on the Illuminati's watch list. Basically their hit list. I'm low on that list, but I'm on that list. And if you go back to the very original Wake Up video that I did for the Wake Up series, that was shot in December last year, that's the video that got me put on that list because I disclosed information about CERN. I disclosed information about a being they called a giant living within the deepest bowels of CERN, helping the scientists. And they watched me. You'll notice in the first few videos of that series, I tell this force that I am sensing every time I did them videos to fuck off. It's not welcome here. You see me in those videos wave guns and knives, daring it to show itself, daring it to step out of the shadows and confront me. They've watched me when I was at work, when I was at my ex-girlfriend's house. Even if I just stepped out on the balcony of my porch, they were watching me. I'm sorry, balcony of my apartment. They were watching me. And they slipped up a couple times. One of their drones, one of the things watching me, revealed itself. The only thing was, while it was very unnatural, I didn't get the sense of it was trying to harm me. But at the same time, to this very day, I don't know what it was. I've heard a dog growling in my old apartment by my TV on the other side of my window, and I lived on the second floor. Keep in mind, dogs were not allowed in the building, not even for a visit. But it would be by my TV on the other side of my window, on either side of my apartment door. I heard scratching coming from the outside of my apartment door. I've seen shadows standing in front of my apartment door from the other side of the door. Now, a lot of you thinking shadows that could be his neighbors. I knew when they were my neighbors because I would always hear my neighbors talk. I knew the general sense of the feeling, the aura that my neighbors put off. This was nothing like that. I slept, guns under my pillow, knives at my side, waiting for something to approach me, something with malicious intent. But of course, nothing ever did. And that told me something. That told me that they're afraid of me, though I never understood why. Well, at the time, the question was, why are they afraid of me? Why are they so afraid to show themselves? Why are they so afraid to approach me? What is it about me that makes them tuck tail and avoid me? My friend, my colleague, at one time received weird voice messages through Facebook that appeared to be sent to him by people he knew, but they didn't send the messages. I had the privilege of listening to these messages. You want to talk about malicious intent? That's all this voice was. They were using some kind of voice modification device. We're not exactly sure what kind. We do know it's not the cheap ones you can get at the Halloween store or the party store for that matter. Come to find out, somehow on his phone, there was a file put there that he did not download. As soon as he deleted the file, the voice messages left to him through Facebook disappeared. The only ones still in existence are the ones he sent me. During this hiatus, this point where it basically seemed like I disappeared, me and him talked. We've found quite a few things out. He decided to dig back into his ancestry a little bit because he's got a big portion of Italian blood in him. Come to find out, his family actually has ties to the Italian mafia. So far back, as a matter of fact, that his family somehow has ties to the original family of the Italian mafia. If I remember correctly, they're called the First Family. Me and him got to talking. He received a message from the Centaurians. A message that said birthright. Prior to that, we were discussing the possibilities of the Centaurians and the First Family for the Italian Mafia having some kind of pact. It wouldn't surprise us because the Italian Mafia, even to this day, has its fingers in everything. Everything. And even back then, they had their fingers in everything. This is no secret. That's when he got that message, birthright. A couple days later, we were talking. He sent me a picture of a tower being built at the site of ancient Babylon, ancient Babel, whatever you want to call it. For those of you not familiar, that is the site of the original Tower of Babel from biblical times. The lore behind the Tower of Babel is that it was constructed by humans to reach above the heavens, to spit in the eye of God. He sent me a picture of this tower that is to be completed by the year 2020. A tower so tall it stretches above the clouds. A modern day Tower of Babel. To say it pissed me off to see that is an understatement. At the time I wasn't religious. I didn't believe in God. But my belief was coming back because everything I've learned through my research has always led back to having roots in the Bible itself, particularly in the book of Revelations. Man might have wrote that book, but it took a very divine power to make predictions thousands of years before they happened. Predictions, I might add, are taking place now. He then sent me a picture a day or two later of a cloud formation that looked like four men on horseback descending from the sky. We didn't have to do much research to figure out what that meant. That was a sign that the four horsemen of the apocalypse had arrived on this planet. For those of you who are either not familiar with the horsemen or are familiar with the evil way that the horsemen are portrayed, the false way that they are portrayed, allow me to clear it up for you. The four horsemen of the apocalypse, they they mark the beginning of the Great War, the war between God and Satan. They mark the beginning of the second coming, and above all else, they are the wrath of God. See, God has 7 seals. Each seal has its own purpose. While the purpose of the other 3 seals are not really known right now, the first 4 seals, however, are the horsemen. The key to these first 4 seals is the Lamb of God. We know that they had been here for quite some time. The picture itself was taken in 2009. We've been trying to figure out how long they've been here. While we don't know that, we would have one answer about something very soon. What they were looking for. See, the horsemen being spirits, they need human vessels in order to properly exist in this world. My friend and colleague was approached by one of them with help of the Arcturian race. And you can believe what I'm telling you, you cannot believe it. You can either open your eyes and realize that everything I've been saying, everything that we, the conspiracy theorists, we, the critical thinkers, we, the truth seekers, are telling you, or you can remain brainwashed by the puppet masters into thinking we're nothing but fucking lunatics who only seek attention. Keep in mind, we are not looking for anything except the truth. We are not looking to gain fame or fortune for what we are telling you. We have nothing to gain but everything to lose. The horseman that approached my friend was the horseman War. War asked him a few questions, one of which was 3 names of people who he thought would be suitable vessels for his brothers: famine, pestilence, and death. I was one of the names given. Shortly after that, I called out to death and was approached by death in a manner that I didn't expect. A month or so went by before death entered my body. I am the vessel of death. Shortly after that, pestilence was circling someone very close to my friend's heart. He asked pestilence to allow him the honor of being his vessel instead of the woman he loved. And then a very chilling correlation was brought up after that, a correlation I'm not at liberty to go into. I had visions at one point of 2 people I know, of people that I know and love, that I was fairly certain that famine, the only horseman left that we know of, still that we know that is still looking for a body, that is still looking for a vessel. I asked death, war, and pestilence, and I screamed it out to famine that they are off limits. harboring the power of the horseman, even just one horseman, while it is a great honor, it requires not only physical strength, but mental strength. We also know that at some point in the next couple years, we're anticipating by the end of 2020, coincidentally enough, that's when this new Tower of Babel is supposed to be finished. That the Great War will finally leave from behind the veil of secrets that the Illuminati has kept up for hundreds of years, and finally spill out into the public. The resulting aftermath will wipe out more than 3/4 of this planet's human population. We found out what we kind of knew all along. The human race is not the original owners of this planet. The original owners of this planet are the Centaurians. And they're coming back for it. You see, the Illuminati's plan, part of the whole New World Order's plan, much like what they intend to do to Mars, that terraforming bullshit that they've been talking about. They intend on terraforming the planet. The chemtrails is only one of the ways that they're doing it. They're trying to make the air for humans toxic because the Centaurians can only breathe sulfur. They cannot survive within our atmosphere. That being said, because at this point I know that the Illuminati is watching, I know that they're puppet masters. Lucifer, I know you're watching. The Centaurians, I know you're watching. We want you to run as fast as you can. We want you to try to hide. We, the horsemen, will not stand for your blasphemy. But also, we will not be alone. You see, the vessels that death, war, and famine have taken harbored a great evil, an evil with the same goal: to put an end to Lucifer and rid the world of the evil of the Illuminati. When we took over and entered these vessels, we locked their demons away. But my vessel, the vessel of death, he found a reason and a way to release that demon. So instead of us trying to conquer one another, we joined forces. We combined our powers. An unholy alliance, an unholy fusion of power, if you want to call it that. but a necessary one. This demon known as C-DOGG that lies within this vessel. Lucifer, you're afraid of him. You're afraid of him because of what he's capable of on his own. Now he is combined with a horseman. Before, he would have defeated you and used you as a footstool as he sat on the throne of hell as its rightful ruler. Now, we will drag you back through the gates of hell, straight into the deepest, darkest pits of the prison Tartarus. And we will rip out whatever fucking heart you have. Your General Abaddon, and I know you're watching too, you little fucking pussy. You came face to face with my brother Death before Pestilence also joined him in that same vessel. You and the assholes that summoned you stood face to face with war as he drew his sword and screamed. And what did you do, Abaddon? You tucked tail and fucking ran. Lucifer, if that's the best you have as generals, you're even more fucked than we originally thought. The demon that resides within the vessel of my brother's war and pestilence is very much like the demon that resides within my vessel, this vessel. He found a reason to unleash it, but something I've been noticing, his is a little reluctant to join forces with the horsemen. I'm sure you know the name of this vessel, and I'm sure you know the name of the vessel of my brother's war and pestilence, and make no mistake about it, my vessel has reached out to famine and will reach out again. The being that will stand before you, the vessel of my brother's war and pestilence, is a being known only as Hazard. The being you see standing before you now. This hybrid of a divine good and evil. Even after famine takes up his offer, and make no mistake about it, I'm sure my brother Famine will take up this vessel's offer. This being is known only as Carnage. We will slaughter your armies. We will destroy your generals. And Lucifer, the great deceiver, the great betrayer, you were once a horseman. And God's most trusted horseman. And you betrayed him. For that, we won't simply kill you. We won't slaughter you. We will erase you. You think because you are the son of a Greek god, it makes you all powerful. It makes you nothing. And if Hades, Poseidon, and Zeus do decide to get involved, and make no mistake about it, Lucifer, we know they are here. We know that they have their weapons. We know that your grandfather, Kronos, will join the fight as well. They will meet the same fate that you meet. We want you to run as fast as you can. And we want you to try to hide. But just know, we will hunt you down and put you down. You underestimate the powers of the human race. But one thing I know, my brothers know, and even our vessels know. Our vessels, to start off with, are not human. We know what they are. Do you? At the sight of one, you run. At the sight of two, you scatter. At the sight of three, you cower in the shadows. At the sight of four, you will die.